Hey everyone, and welcome back to Crabbots. I mean, Wander
were these
Turtle.
the ruins that we came into before?
No. No, but they look almost exactly like it.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like there's a crazy amount of traps up ahead.
Ooh,
Oh, you know what?
A runestone.
Yeah, we haven't been through one of these. We haven't actually activated one of these in a while. It's interesting that it doesn't show up on my Detect Hidden.
I discovered the greatest heights of magical power. I achieved everything and anything I desired, except to find one of them again. And inevitably, someone would remind me through their ugliness that somewhere, something as beautiful and perfect as that divine spirit existed. People will hurt you. People will try to use you. But this thing was different. Yes, I could trust it, and it would protect me from the callousness of others.
I wonder what this thing is that she's referring to.
I'm not sure. I'm going to save before I do something incredibly stupid. Alright.
Flames.
Oh, hey.
Looks like some of them have different patterns.
Yeah.
Has taken off half your health, though. Maybe you want to regenerate? I didn't even know you kept that spell.
Yep. I still have it. This is funny. Who needs Burrow's boots when you're just crazy over-equipped? And now we can go back. I believe. I don't know.
Niskaru and...
Scribbles.
More Niskaru.
My favorite. Except for these ones are glowing weirdly. Because usually they have like a red as opposed to a magenta.
No, they've always been magenta.
Oh, they have? I always thought it was like a red-orange.
I don't know, it depends on the Prismeer. I mean, these guys do blue stones with magenta haze? I don't know.
The one thing the main reason why I don't like the Niskaru is parrying them is a giant pain in the ass. Unlike pretty much every other enemy, which can be planned a little bit better. Alright, I don't even know what's up over here. I just see a bunch of traps. I see treasure.
What could this be?
You know, traps like that are kind of meaningless when they don't do enough damage to actually dissuade you from doing things. Looks like it's just loot in here.
They had a gauntlet of Lyria, which is interesting.
Yeah. Well, I assume over the course of a faction quest you'd be able to pick up the entire set. It only makes sense. Because it would be kind of tacky if you have, like, a bunch of named items that you normally can't get anywhere else. Or, like, it would be a pain to collect the entire set. Unfortunately, I just don't care about most of the named armor because it's not as good as what we're wearing.
It's unfortunate that we couldn't actually preview armor sets in, like, a wardrobe or something.
Yeah.
Because I feel it's just a mishmash collection of pieces until you can actually craft a full...
They do actually have unique skins, like the named ones, that will look different. But the problem I found is they're just not as good. Also, they don't even look that great. Actually, I was looking on the official wiki for this game as well as IGN, and they don't even have a complete listing because this game just did not receive the proper support, which is kind of a shame.
Ooh, a tree.
Yeah. Because, like, it definitely has the trappings to be a better game than it actually is. I'd actually have to go back and read the reviews on it, because I think the strongest point of this game is, like, the lore behind it and some of the, like, interesting writing tropes.
It's interesting how this is supposed to be a dock maze. And it's actually fairly well lit, and you can visibly see all the different paths on your map. How is it much of a maze without the element
Maybe we're not there yet? I don't know.
It said clear the dark maze.
Okay, I want to try something. Hold on. There we go.
You shield bumped it.
Yeah, you can, if you parry and then hit them with a greatsword, you can stab them in the chest. It's not nearly as effective as I was hoping it would be. I thought it would be some, like, crazy combo, but no, you just stick them. Which kind of sucks. I
So
forgot about
do
this
these
one.
guys scale up with level unlike the previous
Yeah.
areas?
Well, one potential thing is that
This wouldn't have been accessed until much later in the game anyway.
yeah. So maybe things inside don't. No, most things inside various places do scale with level. They have to.
I mean, I suppose we're doing things backwards. I would assume that as people journey through the areas, they would do the different tasks along the same lines at the same time.
Yep. But
Not going through each path.
since we're filming this as a series, oh, I see what they mean by a maze. Odd. Okay, so if you look on the map, you can see where we're supposed to go. However, we can't go there yet. Maybe there's a switch down this corridor or something. Or, actually, no, I'm dumb. You just go around the bottom. This is not a very interesting maze. Yeah, because you just go...
Oh, what?
Lazy.
What, so it just shifts?
Yeah,
Ever
it's like shifting walls and stuff. But I guess really that just serves to trap us away from certain treasure chests, which is not exactly what I would call compelling or challenging. Just I wish the stone walls would move faster so I could get through them. Because more or less I feel like I'm just being kind of led around by the nose instead of actually doing anything. See, that door opened at least remotely fast, but like this, stabby, stabby,
You know,
stabby,
each
stabby.
segment has to lift up out of the way.
Yeah, I know, but you can do that from like a distance away. Oh, that's the other thing I don't like about the Niscaro. They actually like lunge forward. Oh, there we go. So you kick them. If you keep mashing X after a parry, you then kick them off of your sword.
Kick. Yeah, I noticed that tends to be one of the favored melee attacks when it comes to people having melee weapons and actually no rifle. Like, just sort of, if someone gets close to you, you shove them back. Actually, that seems to be more of a ranger move to me.
Yeah, but this is like you stab them through the chest, then kick them back. Yeah. I noticed with the hammer you kind of backhand them with the like hammer hilt instead of actually you know, hitting them with a hammer. Which works. See? Stab, then kick. Hey, it's neat. I like the fact that they included parry combos in this game. Actually, the parrying system in this game, the more I practice it, the more I like it. Because I don't like the stunning that they do in this game.
And that's your only counter.
Because dodging in this game is downright terrible. Enemies will just, like, hone in on you, and it's kind of a pain in the ass.
Or their attacks have a wide enough berth that a dodge would...
be meaningless. You also don't have invincibility frames while you're dodging. You know what I mean by that, right?
Yeah, it was sort of like the thief in Guild Wars 2.
Yeah, where while you are dodging, you're invincible, no matter what. So you can dodge straight through, like, a burning meter or anything like that, which makes no sense.
Yeah, you could actually be dodging while an attack is actually commencing on a bad spot, but if you
As
got
long
out
as
of
you
it,
dodged right through, yeah. You wouldn't get hit by it at all. But in this game, you don't have any such thing. Your invincibility frames don't exist. All you can do is just block and parry. And so I find it's much better to just try and parry, or just take the damage, because after a certain point you're geared enough that it doesn't even matter. And you can just chug potions like a crazy person. Which is kind of a shame. But like, it's not the end of the world, it's just not compelling combat.
I like to have both of those chakrams.
Looped back and hit them both?
Yeah.
I think the chakrams in this game, really the like weapon choreography and like how the weapons move in this game is fantastic. I really enjoy.
It's what makes it visually compelling enough to watch time and time again.
Yeah. If it was just hit them, hit them, hit them, hit them, hit them, it would be very boring, but...
I must be running out of oxygen.
What?
Yawning. again and again. That's not because I'm necessarily bored.
I mean, it is kind of repetitive content here, though. What were we talking about?
We were talking about impediments at one point.
Yeah, where...
This just seems like impediments.
It's just slowing me down so I can't consume content fast enough. It's... Oh, shoot. We're watching a video on this.
Well, yeah. It was about intrinsic versus extrinsic value.
Yeah.
About how in games... This was an extra credits film, by the way.
We watch a lot of that, so if our discussions seem similar, it's usually because we watched a video or thinking about the topic.
We formulated those thoughts on our own. And
oh yeah, we're not parroting. Well, we are kind of parroting because we agree, but we had these opinions beforehand.
I mean...
This is why I don't like a lot of Pokemon games, for example.
Pokemon?
Well, I mean, maybe not Pokemon, but like old turn-based RPGs.
Yeah, you see, I suppose I never thought about it in the way that they described it in their video, but I suppose it's... Everyone has their own reasons for playing games. They have their own likes, and those tend to shape what they're seeking. So, you know, people that like the multiplayer shooter games, they like competition and dominating other people. People that like RPGs like the roleplay aspect and how they want to feel, you know, more than themselves or maybe experience a in-depth storyline. And I suppose for me, we've had a lot of gripes before about how Carl prefers playing, well, not necessarily any game, but you'll pretty much be willing to try anything, whereas I'll specifically, yeah, that's a odd tongue.
Yep.
Whereas I prefer things that have an intriguing storyline. And I suppose, for me, combat is just something that's keeping you back just a little bit from each segment of the story.
Or even this dungeon. It's not just combat in this game. The walls, for example. I was complaining about them not being particularly compelling because, well, I wasn't puzzling my way through anything. Oh, this is very hard. I'm lazy.
Yeah, I suppose that's the difference between this and like a Legend of Zelda game.
Yeah, because the dungeons...
Where you clear a room and you do a couple puzzles in order to get to the next place. And you don't necessarily have to battle monsters until a door opens after you've defeated them all. You could enter a room and have to shift a certain lever or find a certain button.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of the point of intrinsic versus extrinsic value. To me, there's no intrinsic value to repeatedly fighting the same monsters over and over and over again. And, well, there is, but it wanes, especially as the game goes on.
Which is why it would almost make more sense for you to just, travel from one boss monster to another?
No. I think the point is you need to actually design encounters. Instead of just saying, well, we'll slap down some Niscaro here, and here, and here. Whereas think of, I don't know, Darksiders 1 would be a good example.
Mm-hmm.
You know how more often than not, yeah, there were a couple of trash mobs in your way, but more often than not, whenever you ran into an encounter of...
It almost had a little mini cutscene go along with it.
Yeah, a mini cutscene. Certain monsters would come out, they'd have different tactics, and there would be certain numbers, and there would be certain environmental things you could possibly use against them. And there were a number of combat segments where it felt meaningless, but there weren't so many that it was frustrating. Whereas here, we had to fight, 20 some odd Niscaro just to get through?
Yeah, and I mean, at least they aren't respawning like in Metroid.
Yeah.
You backtrack into a room you just came from because you realize you need to get something else, and...
Yeah.
They're all there.
So
and you can only go from one save point to another, and if you don't get to the next save point, if you're, midway through a terrible passageway, if you die, there's just no going back.
Yep. And, I think that's kind of the point of the entire discussion is, was this designed with the player in mind or the time it would take them to get through a challenge? Because, actually, there's a game I did a review on a couple hours ago called Treasure Adventure World, which is kind of a reimagining of Treasure Adventure game. It's an indie game that came out recently.
Oh, did he just appear?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's just been waiting for us here. But it's the puzzles to get through it, none of it felt forced or anything like that. And yes, I was stuck for a while and almost quit the game, but it actually felt fun and interesting, as opposed to just like, I have to do this again.
And you actually had to use monsters to blast things.
Mm-hmm. I guess there was actually a couple of points. Whenever you like lay the block down, you'd have to then hop up and around and go over because there's not enough room to get around the block you're moving around. And I never like that in games because it just feels like it's padding out time.
Mm-hmm.
Or like if you put a block on a switch and then you leave the area and come back, the block goes back to where it was originally when you found it. That always feels frustrating to me because then you have to redo the puzzle. But I don't know. Forgivable.
Onward with the story.
That's the glass of ambient then. Nicely done. And it says the missives are... very interesting. I'm saving that for another time. Now there's one piece of this puzzle missing. We need to find out who the Hierophant is. And to do that, we part ways, for now. Your path lies in Sun Camp, to the south. Lay low, take some jobs, and we'll end this soon enough.
You have a black outline around you.
Oh yeah, we do.
I've noticed that when you were playing...
Only on the front, though. Not on the back. On the back, it's a white outline.
I don't think there's an outline at all on the back.
Yeah, there is. Look right along here.
Oh. Huh.
It's weird.
I think it's probably from the special effects that are whirling around you all
Yep.
the time, like the shield.
Yep.
You're constantly in a haze.
Honestly, I like games like that with the kind of slight cartoony style or something like that. Like, imagine if the characters had the...
I don't think this was intentional. I think it was a glitch with the graphics, though.
Yeah, or an effect of the special effects, not an intentional artistic direction. But just to differentiate things so it's easier to tell. Alright, world map. Sun Camp, all the way down in Lalasville.
In the desert.
Time to go surprise the Hierophant, because we're still not dead yet.
Mm-hmm. Though I think no one knew of that last mission, correct?
Correct, because...
It was initiated by Grimm.
Yeah, and maybe the Hierophant knows, but at this point, too late.
So, we have a new arrival in Sun Camp. I have heard tell of a traveler, a true thief with skills in metal. I assume that is you. Your arrival is a blessing of the Hierophants. I hope it will distract my camp from these idiotic rumors of Grim Onwig and his crusade. Yes, he wishes to change countless years of tradition because of a misplaced personal grudge, apparently. That can't end well. I am Ajin, the leader of the Sun Camp. Under my leadership, I have created one of the largest and most profitable camps in the Travelers. The title Queen of Staves is reserved for the oldest and wisest of the camp leaders. The Hierophant awarded it to me for my service.
Is she old and wise?
Well, remember, they don't have alternate character models, so she's probably like 70, but they didn't model her to look like it, so...
But she looks like she's just like a young blonde with a pixie cut. Is it white? Is it supposed to be gray?
It's supposed to be white. I've seen her in the daylight.
You would do well to not question those higher than yourself, child. And the Hierophant is not one to be questioned by anyone. From the Hierophant we are given prophecies, portents. The travelers are blind, but the Hierophant sees clearly and leads them to prosperity. Very well. There are enough travelers in this camp speaking of this Grim Onwig. We must show that the work still waits. You are versed in our order, and we esteem the blessed Hierophant highly here. Go to the shrine in camp and pray if you wish for work. Be gone.
Alright, probably on the other side of this, but we have to go down because I've gotten lost in this camp before because there's like a kind of upper tier thing, and the markers aren't always exactly explicit on is it high or low.
But...
Yeah, this is probably a good stopping point because I'd wager that we finish this job and then... Geez, the Traveler's faction quest is longer than the Mages or the Warrior one, I think.
Believe so? It's just...
Maybe.
It's been a blue milk run this whole time.
Blue milk?
You don't know what that means?
Nope.
Well, wait.
What is a blue milk run?
Well, maybe... Okay, so is the actual saying a milk run?
Your
milk run-
colloquialisms are confusing.
It's a colloquialism about doing errands. And I suppose I must have said blue milk because of Star Wars. Again. You know the blue milk commercial thing? I don't know. It was with Princess Leia. It was funny.
I'm trying to replicate that weird movement glitch that I was going on, but guess not. Anyway, mostly we've just been running all over the place grabbing items. Let's hope we actually get to punch the hero
That's really
fan.
odd. Everything went green and then blue.
Well, it depends on where you're standing because this game has funky lighting. So if you stand near like a torch or this, everything turns pinky.
Well, no, but go back. Go back to the wall. Turn around, but make sure that your character doesn't turn around.
Oh, like this?
There we go.
Yeah, this is
Everything's
odd.
green.
Oh, it's because you're seeing everything through the shield, which blue shifts stuff. I don't know. Anyway, we will see you guys on the next episode of Kingdoms of Amalur. I'm really hoping it's the end of the Travelers faction quest line, but we might have 2 more to go. Either way, we will see you guys then.